So I'm going to show you how to convert a decimal to a fraction. The only ones they'll give you will be terminating usually, so I'm going to show you terminating first. So if I have 0.8 and I want it expressed as a fraction, the easiest thing to do is just look in what column it finishes. So this would be tenths, and this would be hundredths. The number, so the column where the number finishes will be what number you have to write underneath. So I would end up with hundredths because my final number, the 8, is in the hundredths column, and I need to write 28 on top. Now, because it's over 100, this is really helpful because I know that that means I've got 28%. However, if I want this written as my final answer as a fraction, it's not good enough. It needs to be simplified. So, what I'm going to do is keep simplifying it until I get down to either a number that is a prime or two numbers, top and bottom, that have no common factor. I know that 28 is in the 4 times table, and I know that 100 is also in the 4 times table. So 4 times 7 makes 28, and 4 times 25 makes 100. Now this 4 and this 4 I can cancel, I can divide by 4 on top and bottom, and this cancels it out. So I'm just left with 7 over 25. Notice that straight away I've ended up with a prime on top. So as long as this prime isn't a factor of its bottom number of the denominator, I don't have to do any more work. 25 isn't in the 7 times table, so I can stop now. I know that this is my fully simplified fraction, so that is the same as writing 0.28 as a decimal, or, as we showed earlier, 28%. Now if you didn't spot that 28 was in the 4 times table, you could have just kept dividing by 2. So this would have given us 100 divided by 2, which is 50, 28 divided by 2, which is 14, and then divided through again to end up at the same answer. But what if I end up with something like 0.3 recurring? Now, grammatically, I cannot write a recurring decimal on top of a fraction. So I need to somehow get rid of the recurring part. And this is how we do it. The number that we start with, the decimal that we start with, we're going to just call x. And somehow what we need to do is create another number that has 0.3 recurring on the end of it, so we can take them away from each other and cancel it out. So I'm going to times 0.3 by 10, which gives me 3.3 recurring, because when we times by 10, all we've done is pulled this 3 forwards by 1, but because it's 3 recurring, there's still all the other 3's that sit behind it in place. So what I'm going to do now is write my larger number on top, because it just makes it easier to take it away, and then my smaller number on the bottom, and I'm going to subtract them. So 10x minus 1x is going to be 9x, and 3.3 recurring minus 0.3 recurring, well, these two will cancel each other out, and I'm just left with 3. So now I know that 9x is worth 3. To get x by itself, I just need to divide 3 by 9, and now simplify. Well, 3 times 3 makes 9, so I have 3 times 1 over 3 times 3, because they give me 3 and 9. So these two 3's can cancel out. I'm left with 1/3. So that's why I know that 0.3 recurring is 1/3.